Good evening, everyone. We're going to call the meeting to order, and please join us for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to start with number 3 is correspondence. Do we have anything? Nothing. Moving to item number 4 is public comment session for items that are on tonight's agenda. I have no one signed up. Moving to number 5 is presentations and guests. And tonight we have the budget presentation introductory, budget information and capital component presentation placeholder. Rich Biebenroth.
Good evening. I want to talk a little bit about the budget introduction and a little bit about our capital component of the budget. Okay. So we have different sources of revenue, but taxpayers is a majority of our revenue. We have great taxpayers who support us. It was great to watch how they were coming in, not chasing money, not turning a lot over to the county. We have great taxpayers. Our next highest source of revenue is state aid. We also federal title grants. This one has some concerns about possible changes. It's not a big part of our budget, but it's an important part of our budget. We don't know if there'll be changes or not, just an unknown. And then we have fund balances and reserve, money we've put aside in previous years to pay some specific bills, payments. Other revenues, interest earnings. We're working to getting more interest. This year we're going to be we're working on ways to maximize interest. Of course, we don't know what interest rates will do and what we can do as far as that, but we are working on that. And then there's other smaller revenues from Medicaid, fees, possible tuitions by the districts, and other smaller components. There's a lot of unknowns, and going into budget season, unknowns are tough. It makes my job a nightmare. Salaries, we're negotiating with our 2 largest unions that have about 90% of our employees, and there's an unknown of what effect that's going to have on the budget. I can make some predictions. I don't want to make predictions because I don't want to make predictions publicly because we are still in a negotiation process, and I don't want to be tainting any there. Federal funding, as I said before, there is some concerns about some grants and funding, if there's going to be any changes. Those are unknown. Fuel costs, I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. We're waiting on a bid, but I'm going to speak about that. Same with property and liability insurance costs. We're waiting on new rates. They're probably going to be at a 10 to 16% increase, but we don't have the totals on there. Goods and materials, we're uncertain of any real spikes or decreases, in the cost of goods and services. Just right now, it's hard to know what's going to happen in the current climate, whether we're going to have increases, decreases. They make it hard to predict. Normally, you want to hope for a steady prediction, but we'll get through that. Fuel. Currently, we're going out to bid. Doesn't mean we have to accept it. DCMO BOCES goes out, and they're typically 16 to 25% less than the state contract. You lock in your fuel bid for the year. This year, it looked really good when my predecessor locked it in. It may not have been the best year. Fuel prices did go down. We did lock in. There are years when you lock in and you're very happy you do. You do it at home. A lot of, not everybody does it, but you lock in your fuel costs, so at least you know that they're fixed. We'll wait to hear what the bid is, and then we'll have some conversations about whether we want to accept the bid or go out to any other bids. It's really, really risky not to have a contract, though, because we can't, if something happens and fuel goes up $1 a gallon from something drastically happening, that would be devastating. Even you don't ever want to overpay, but if we're overpaying on the bid, hopefully it's only pennies. As I said, this year, We lost on the bid, but it doesn't, it wasn't tremendous amount of money, but the other way is the scarier way. Health insurance is one of the ones that we do have the new numbers on. We had very modest increases. We went up 2.34% on individual and 0.02% on family. Some of our neighboring districts who are using other carriers have gone up 10 to 16%. Can't tell you why that happened, but I'm not complaining about it. It's a great thing. We were very shocked. We were expecting about 10%. When those numbers came through, I was actually at a meeting and they were, Sam texted those numbers to me and it was shockingly happy. Currently, we have 55 staff who are taking buyouts. We are talking about those in terms of our negotiations, and active staffs contribute 14 to 16.5% to their health benefits. So health benefits is the one thing that is clear. A lot of unknowns. Okay. Capital budget component. This is just some of what that is, but there's debt services and it's facility costs. It's basically everything that happens in our school district that's not administrator or teaching. So anything that happens around this whole campus that's not teaching or administration. It's our heating, it's our security, it's our buildings and grounds, it's building upkeep, it's all the contracts for that, it's our vehicles, it's our fuels. So anything to do with that. This unfortunately has a lot of unknowns. Salaries, every single person, our 2 supervisors and every member of our buildings and maintenance is in contract negotiations. So we don't have a salary prediction. I am working on, but I don't want to assume because we're still in the negotiation phase. Benefits, same thing, because percentages of what employees' contributions and buyouts have an effect on health benefits. Equipment, we expect a modest increase on the cost of equipment. We don't know, though. This is also a case of not knowing what the future brings. Luckily, our debt is flat. Supplies and materials, we're predicting about a 5% increase. This could be, this is definitely going to get refined. And even just during the budget process, things may become a little clearer in terms of what possible future costs there are. Same thing with services. Looking at this year's numbers, we think we're going to about a 3.5% increase. Security, there was a pretty big increase. There'll be a pretty big increase there. There was one this year, and that has to do with the rates of pay, but more is the amount of security that we're doing and overtime and such for different sporting events and things that we're spending money on. That cost. One thing that isn't, budgeted, but we do need to start looking at, and as I make the budget, hopefully there'll be some money there. We need a new vehicle for our courier. Our van is, for lack of any other word, it's tired. If you were just running around campus and dropping off, we can let her drive, we could drive a car that's not in the best of shape, but it's representing our school district. We're running to Liberty twice a week at the minimum. We're running other places, and the van is definitely toward the end of its life. So we are looking at possibly purchasing a new vehicle there. Not sure if that will fit in our budget. Mm-hmm. All right. Questions? I don't know. I can find that out. Yeah. I think it's 9 years old. I think. Yeah. I mean, I get bills from Zanetti's and yeah. Yeah. And it's just a matter of whether we can, and afford it. And they range from 36, depending on what vehicle we buy, they're 36 to 41,000 on their bids, and their bid prices are usually pretty competitive. Obviously, we'll check with our local dealers if they can beat the bid. We'd rather give that service if we get there. Yeah, and that's what it is. If we were just running the mail from across the street to here and running packages, we could drive something that's tired, but it's time.
Do you know if the state contract has anything incentive-wise for electric vehicles?
I don't
just something to look at. Might get something cheaper.
There's
if they
nothing
want.
on the bid for any electric vehicles. I don't know if there's any incentives. It is something you could look into. Obviously, we'd have to calculate the cost of, charging, but that's something, something we could look into.
The DEP, more than half our vehicles are plugging,
So can we park there and plug in? No. Yeah. 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 Yeah, there is something that we can look into if there's any incentives. Like I said, there are none on the bid, but it doesn't mean that there's great programs for it. Any other questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I had one other thing. Would you be able to provide the number, the dollar value, what the DEP pays, like as one of our biggest landholders, and the state in taxes?
Yes,
Just curious.
I'll get that for you.
Thank you.
I don't see any switchability. Years ago, we developed them. Yeah. We went to the public to do that. 25 years. The reason we put that in place was Belgium lost a major contributor. The real resident lost $1 million. Who else? How are we going to pick up? So with us, we think about with New York City, which comes back every 10 years, how much did we have to pay the last time? Many of you are on the board.
So if memory serves, the tax surcharge fund was up to $8.5 million. The settlement with the city was a 20-year settlement, and what they were paying. This is what prompted my question for how much they're paying now. It was going to drop by $200,000 a year for those 20 years. So that's going back 9-10 years. It was early on in my board service.
Pending 10 years.
No,
It was in the newspaper.
it was 20 years. We're about 10 years
It
in.
was 20 years, but the newspaper said 10 years and talked about Jefferson County school. So I was just wondering, do we still have that security fund?
No, we do not.
I believe some of it went towards the one building project. We moved the money, but I'm not the business official. I'm just
I
saying memory.
can go back and find out, but
Something like that was dedicated to that. How can that be moved from one to another, one account to another? When it specifically said, group of voters, specifically for tax purposes, certiorari. And we're allowed to have that according to law. There's not many funds we can have. But that we can.
I don't know if does that number come into play with the 4% if we have that 8.5.
no, that would be separate.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I can find out the answer to that. I'm gonna go back and look through the records. I should be able to. I don't want to promise. No. I'll get you an answer on that one.
Okay, thank you, Rich. Moving to item number 6 is the superintendent's report from Sharon Long.
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple of quick notes. We are going to try for the third time to reschedule Brian Mahar to do his inauguration ceremony. He is scheduled to be with us on campus Thursday, February 20th at 10 a.m. in the Bernstein Theater. Our conference day we had earlier this week was very successful. I think the feedback was quite good. We did a program, Catch My Breath, from Sullivan 180, and that was well received. And so we're going to offer that to our community and our students. We have one snow day left as of today, and we are prepared for remote learning. We are putting together a statement for our families about what that's going to look like, and we'll have that out to everyone so it's clear. It's a very easy plan. We understand when we close school, it also impacts our power and our resources that we have at home. So it'll be a very usable plan for us. Today, I attended an immigration webinar that was put on by NISCUS. There was over 500 people across the state that attended it, since that's a fairly hot topic. I did speak with our faculty on Monday about immigration and what the impact could and would be here if somebody were to come to school to seek one of our students. Everybody, our system is in place. Our folks at the booths know, our ladies in the office know, the district office knows. We will just simply welcome them in, take their name, and thank them for coming and let them leave. And then we'll work with our attorneys to move forward from there. And that is really what's coming across the state. There's a lot of FERPA regulations with what you can release. You can't nod your head if you think this kid is enrolled here. You can't give out any information. And so Sullivan County also has a really strong plan in place if a student of ours were to go home and find that their parents or family members had been removed. So we're hoping it doesn't impact us here at Tri-Valley, but we'll be prepared. These are the foils that we have received since the last board meeting. On January 25th, we received a foil from Janet Diamond for all purchases, quotes, and invoices for the purchasing of clothing for employees in the 23-24 school year and the 24-25 school year. Also, all the collective bargaining contracts for all bargaining units and employment contracts for all non-union employees. On February 3rd, we received a foil from Cindy Mickelson for the budget status report for 24-25, showing the original appropriation and all expenditures for all budget codes to date, any adjustments to the budget, any encumbrances that are outstanding, and unencumbered balances for each fund and budget code. Also, all grant monies included estimated revenues, amounts received to date, and revenues estimated to be receiving during the balance of the fiscal year. On February 4th, we received a foil from Cindy Mickelson for all warrants for all funds for the 24-25 school year. And on February 10th, we received a foil from Cindy Mickelson for all coaching licenses for all non-teacher coaches as required by the New York State Education Department. We also received a foil today from Janet Diamond for all of our which one did we get today? Oh, yeah, I just had it. I will bring it up at the next meeting. We had the coaches one. No. For all conferences attended by all employees for the 23-24 and 24-25 school year. That's all I have.
What's the cost as far of staff and legal fees?
Yeah, I will do another total for the next board meeting. I'm doing them in 10 to 12 week increments. And so I'll have that exact total because when the attorney sends us their bill, they break it down for every conversation we have about whatever we're talking about. So I have an exact amount from that.
Thank you.
Erin, can we have that in total and then month by month also?
Certainly, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, hours.
Okay, moving to item number 7 is items the board would want pulled from tonight's consent agenda. Anything? Okay. Moving to item number 8 is the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the entire consent agenda?
Motion.
Motion by Travis, second by Rose. Please proceed to vote.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
That is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved upon the recommendation from the superintendent of schools, the board approves the entire consent agenda, categories 7 through 13. Moving to item number 14 is board committee reports. Don't think we have anything tonight. Moving to item number 15 is old business. I don't believe we have any old business. Moving to item 16 is public comment session for items that are not on tonight's agenda. I have no one signed up. Moving to item number 17 is announcements, reminders, and upcoming events. Anybody have anything? Okay. Moving to item number 18, we have 7 items here, and we'll get through them as quickly as possible. Starting with item 18A is the appointment, election, and budget vote chairperson.
So
It
moved.
is an action. Can I have a motion to accept the appointment, election, and budget vote chairperson?
So moved.
We have to nominate somebody.
Oh, I thought it was on the paper.
No, it's blank. So this is kind of something new that we're doing. So I'll step in and do it if you want. If someone else wants to do it, you have to open up the election ceremony and close it.
Who usually does it?
The election,
It's a brand new addition to the role for the person for the budget vote. So this is a new position this year.
And so the normal inspection, the major inspector, he doesn't do it?
The inspector is there, and this is an additional chairperson. And this is the new state regulation.
So this is a new on top of it.
Yes, yes, they have to open up the budget vote and close the budget vote.
the only people who are not eligible would be if you're running for a seat for the board, and you have to be a voter.
I think Keith, you would be wonderful at this position.
Somehow,
I move to have Keith
I'll
do it.
do it. If nobody wants to do it, I'll do
I
it.
second that.
Make that motion.
Okay,
I'll make that motion.
all right. Okay, we have a motion?
George motion. I
George?
second for Keith.
Your second?
Yes.
Okay, you got that. Okay, please proceed to vote.
Aye.
Second.
Oh.
Unanimous.
Okay, it is unanimous. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby nominates Keith Stryker and appoints Keith Stryker as the chairperson for the 2025 school budget and election vote. Thank you. Move to item B is appointments for the election workers. It is an action. Can I have a motion for the appointments of the election workers? And we know who they are.
Motion.
Motion by Travis,
Second,
second by Nicole. Any discussion? Sure.
I thought we appointed people in one of the prior meetings. Is this just additional election workers or is the rate of pay changed? I might be wrong. I thought we had a conversation about election workers.
We did the rate of pay, but we had not
Okay.
done the election
Okay.
workers.
Okay,
Oh, right.
thank you.
For the individuals that are on staff, do they get their pay plus the 1825? How's that working?
They would only get 1825. They would not get, that would be a timesheet they would have to turn in.
Anybody else? Okay, please proceed to vote.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
That is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the following individuals as election staff for 2024 to 2025. The rate of pay will be $18.25 per hour. And we have 3 people. A is Chief Election Inspector Thomas Mitchell. B is Election Inspectors Alice Elberth and Mary Ingram. And C is election clerks Martha Turbush, Barbara Maschio, Eileen Minorski, and Leslie Stryker. Moving to item number 18C is the 2025 to 2026 calendar. It is an action. Can I have a motion to approve the 2025 to 26 calendar? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by Pat, second by Rose. Any discussion?
I have a question. It says on here only 7 emergency closure days. Is that, what did we have this year? 8 or was it
7.
7? Is that a good number to have with the amount of days that we typically have off each year with snow or other storms that come in, power outages, whatnot?
We had 8 last year and gave back 3 the year before, so we went to 7 this year. We certainly can look at perhaps that day in May. We can play with it if you'd like and see if we can build 8 into there.
I'm not taking any days, you know,
Mhm.
7 days just doesn't seem.
Because we have the remote learning, it takes a little bit of that pressure off. We also have to be cognizant of the heat days. They don't count as much as an emergency closure day. There's some different language that we're just getting from that. I certainly can look at that.
So heat days are in addition to the 7 days. So if we have a very hot June or September and we have to close or
So we call them emergency days. So it would be under those emergency days, but there's a little bit of different criteria as far as like a remote learning plan. We wouldn't necessarily have a remote learning day because the whole point is we're getting the kids home out of the heat. But there's new language that just came out around that. So I would have to get some more information before I share that.
And the only other question I have is instructional days is 182. Is it 180 that we're required to have by New York State?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I like what Carrie said, just revisiting 8 days. I would rather see those 8 days or 3 days like last year be given back than go into unknown territory that's going to be a little bit on edge for children when we talk about those remote days.
I will look at that over again and see what we can come up with. I know when we give the days back, it's really difficult to start adding like a Friday in April and a Monday in May, especially around sports and all the spring activities that happen. But I will go back to the drawing board. This one's been a tough one this year for some reason to put together.
The Lunar New Year holiday that I emailed you about, is it the 6th or is it the 17th?
From what we see, it's the 17th.
Next year is the 26th.
No, the following.
Next February would be the 26th. 2026 now. I think February 6th of 26th. Okay.
Yeah, so the county, we just did the calendars with the county school. So we're all mostly aligned with our breaks and everybody has that day.
Or if you can keep to these dates, somebody's going to hire you as a weather lady.
I
So-
just had one other question about the calendar. Back to the instructional days, how it's 182. That's with or without the emergency closure days? Because I was looking at our calendar for this current year, and it had instructional days at 189.
We just tried to clean it up a little bit. So it's actually 189 minus
Okay.
the 7, which would give us 182.
Okay, thank you.
So we're looking to approve this calendar tonight, and then if you need to amend it, we'll come back.
Certainly.
Okay? All right, so please proceed to vote.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
That is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education accepts and approves the academic calendar for the 2025 to 2026 school year. Moving to item number 18D is the approval for board meeting date changes. It is an action, and I have a motion for the approval of the board meeting date changes.
Motion.
Who was that? Motion by Rose? Second by Kerry. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
That is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education approves the change of the previously scheduled work session on March 27, 2025, from a work session to a regular board meeting, and approves the date change of the April 10th, 2025 board meeting to April 8th, 2025. These meetings will occur at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Moving to item number 18E is the approval of the legal notice, annual school budget hearing and vote/elections 2025. It is an action. And I have a motion for the approval of the legal notice, annual school budget hearing and vote/elections 2025.
Motion.
Motion by Nicole. Second.
Second.
Second by Rose. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
As unanimous, thank you. Be resolved that the Board of Education approves the legal notice for the school budget/elections for the 2025 as attached to the public portion of the agenda. Moving to item 18F is the Sullivan County BOCES Board member nomination. It is an action, and we have to choose a member. So can I have a motion for the Sullivan County BOCES Board member nomination?
Motion.
Motion by Tammy,
Second.
second by Travis.
Yes.
So the nomination is,
I nominate Keith Stryker.
I think Keith would be really a great asset at that position.
okay, so anybody else? Please proceed to vote.
Aye. Now, Keith, would you explain that process, how it proceeds on? And if we get another chance to vote, to make sure we support our candidate?
So it's a 3-year term, and I'm up this year. And at their annual board meeting, all the new candidates or candidates that are rerunning will introduce themselves to all the school districts are at an annual dinner at BOCES. And then from there, there'll be a vote from the boards for each of their candidates.
That would be that night or separately at another time at our own board meetings?
We will do a vote at our board meeting once
Okay.
candidates have announced who's running.
Thank you.
Okay. Not everybody attends the dinner, so.
Well, that was my concern. So, you want as many votes as we can get there,
It
so.
comes back to the home district.
Right, thank you.
It is unanimous.
It is unanimous? Okay. Okay. It is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved that the Board of Education nominates Keith Stryker to serve as the BOCES board member representing the Tri-Valley Central School District. This nomination is for the position currently held by Mr. Keith Stryker, with a term expiring on June 30th, 2025. Moving to item number 18G is the approval/termination. It is an action. And can I have a motion to accept the approval termination?
Motion.
Motion by Kerry,
Second.
second by George. Any discussion? Please proceed to vote.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
That is unanimous. Thank you. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the probationary appointment of employee 01351 shall be discontinued and his employment shall be terminated effective March 15th, 2025. And it is further resolved that in compliance with New York Education Law, Section 3031, employee number 01351's last day of pay shall be Monday, March 17th, 2025. Moving to item number 19 is board comment session. George, anything?
First, I have to apologize. I was not on the air. I could have used that shot collar when I first started, so I apologize for that. In visiting other schools, I saw something that maybe we could put in place here. It would help our security substantially. It had we can't put actual gates or whatever for the hallways when we have certain events here, and it's trying on our security, but also it opens up the whole school to whoever and whatever. But so I was visiting one school and I saw they had what I call a security tape across the hallway, and it was implanted in one side of the wall, and it was a tape that went across, and it had something like secure area, no one past this point. It says that you don't belong here. So if there are people in that area and our security guards see that, that can be taken care of in such a way, or you can't come into school anymore after so many penalties. But I think it would behoove us to do that for our school. We do a lot of other things, but I think it would take a lot of pressure off our security, but they're there all the time anyway, but you give them a little more teeth to enforce that. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but it wouldn't be, it appears to be minimal in cost. So if you have any questions and understand what I'm saying.
I took a picture of that. I was at the same place you were, and I took a picture of that, and I've shared that here. I thought that might be a great deterrent to have in the evenings, or if we've got an event happening, or on Sundays with Bear Cub, if we were able just to close down a hallway with that. So I agree with you.
So other board members go around the table and see what you thought of it.
Has that been a problem? Or-
I think kids. I think sometimes, yes, kids will wander. Thank you, Aaron. I'm trying to see if I can find a picture of it. It is it's a black piece and you put it on the wall. It's like at the airport when they change the thing, and it's just yellow and it says, like, do not enter, do not pass. And I took a picture of it. So I thought that might be good in the evenings, especially if our custodians are cleaning a section with one of the machines. They can shut down, each area they're cleaning, and it might be worth looking into.
We do keep the doors shut, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
Yeah,
this would
like
just
right
be an,
here,
right? This
I
would
know.
just be an added.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
On the warrant, I didn't know if I should bring it up then or now, but I saw quite a disparity in difference in fuel oil cost. Now, I don't know if it was diesel oil, fuel oil, or what, but it's on the warrants. But it was substantial. 291, 321, and 4.03. And I thought everything was on the contract. I know that if you're on the road, you buy something, but these were substantial gallons that the district pays for. So I was just wondering why the difference and there's quite a range from 291 to 321 and $4 bucks. So, just clarify that sometime if you could, because I know we're talking about fuel bid now. Yearbook. What's the status of a yearbook? Now, I've been here almost 3 years, and I've looked in the yearbook, and I don't see board members, and I don't, and I don't know how they're doing it today, but if they're using it as Ursa Magna as identification, that logo was started and addressed by a school board at one time that it was an official logo. So, is there an issue? Is there, do we owe money? Do we pay money for our pictures or what? I thought, the board is, not that, I just thought it was part of heritage here at Tri-Valley and part of taking place what happens at Tri-Valley. So what's the status of it?
We're working with the yearbook committee to make sure the board is in there and all of our folks over at the district office. And yes, we're working on that.
If there's an issue, just bring it to the board and we'll get it straightened out.
Yep. We have it.
Another one I want to run by, and I think it would really be a benefit to the district and especially to our students or kids. We really don't have anything for the kids here in the summertime in this district. Other than, of course, we have summer school, but I'm specifically talking about some type of summer rec here at Tri-Valley, specifically done by Tri-Valley, and opening up our school to our kids during the summer. I understand that the older kids generally work all over the place, which is good, but the younger ones, swimming lessons, but really, what do they have during the summer for our Tri-Valley kids? I mean, if we had an official, somebody that's already works at the district that would want to do it, and I did check into that, and I do have somebody that wouldn't mind doing it, but I won't share that until you might want to think about doing it. And cost, of course, is involved, but what cost do we put on having our kids engaged and safe during the summer? So I leave it at that. I thought maybe somebody might have some discussion on it.
I believe that there might be some other community organizations that also are taking a lead on that. I was at a community event over the weekend and I did hear there was communication about it. How long does our summer program run and how many children were involved in it?
Last summer, we tried a different type of summer program with that Summer Olympic theme. It ran, I think, about 5 weeks, 3 days a week, and we had about 75 students sign up, but about 55 actually completed the whole program.
And they were shortened hours, right? Just a couple hours throughout the day?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Will we be looking to do something similar this year?
I think we have to look at the budget. That was through our ESSER funding, and so that was pretty significant. But certainly we could look at some partnerships between the community and the school,
Awesome.
to see if there's a way we could put together both.
Wonderful. We are approaching that time of year where parents start to think about that stuff. So maybe in the
That'd be
next
great.
couple weeks.
What she's talking about, was that part of the summer program in educationally at the elementary? So it had nothing to do really with the outside public during the summer. I'm talking specifically about bringing kids in from the district during the summer months that really don't have a connection to the school educationally at all during the summer. Some place where they can come in and play and work out.
Okay.
Travis, anything?
Hi, Tri-Valley. I'm sorry I was not here for the last meeting. I promise I'm not putting you on the spot. I was just wondering, because it's my fault, I didn't follow up about the ski program, if there was any. I was skiing the other night and it came to mind, and of course, being so cold this winter, if there was any movement with that, or if any thoughts, or...
I am not aware that anybody took interest in joining this year. And we did not form a club. Certainly we can, but nobody's come forward.
Okay, thank you for that. Also, I know it's been a cold winter. Thank you, Tri-Valley staff and community. Thank you, Aaron, for... Listen, the roads have been ups and downs, so thank you for looking out for the safety for staff and the children. We really do appreciate it, and drive carefully. Thank you.
Thank you. Tammy?
Just to touch on the yearbook real quick. I haven't received an email to order.
I think there was something on our website. And the students have received emails for it? No, it's not done.
No, you can still order it.
Nope, it's not done. It's not put together yet.
I don't know. It's just to order.
So it is in the second, if you go to our news and announcements, it's on the second page now, and you can see the link right there.
Very good. Thank you. I missed that. Also, do we have a date for the fall sports banquet?
So I think the banquets are going to be combined together for one more year. I just don't think it was able to be managed and budgeted. So in talking with Mr. Crudelli, he's probably going to put a banquet together for the spring that's going to encompass all the athletes, and then we'll go back to the drawing board for next year to do them each separate season.
Thank you.
Carrie?
Just a couple of things. In the guidepost, it's nice to see 3 pages of children who are receiving high honor roll, principals honor roll, and just honor roll. It's an accomplishment, and it's very encouraging to see so many names on this list, especially at the size school that we have. Winter sports are wrapping up. I just want to wish best of luck to the teams that are competing in sectionals in the next upcoming weeks, and then get ready for spring sports. So kids, if you haven't signed up yet, make sure you sign up for spring sports. And also, I just wanted to say just a quick thank you to the FFA kids who did go down to Westchester Monday when school was closed. A handful of kids did partake in donating some materials to kids who are ill down there. And I want to say it was a pet project of one of our students who took the lead on that. So kudos to her. I know it was really special to Callie, and there was a lot of meaning behind that. So well done, Callie. We appreciate it from the community. It was very touching. That's all I have.
Thank you. Nicole?
So Travis touched on, I wanted an update on the Holiday Mountain. Carrie, same thing with all of the honor roll, principals honor roll, and high honor roll students. That's a huge accomplishment. It's a large group of children. The other thing I want to say is that our social media presence was lacking in the beginning of the year. I definitely notice an increase, and it's well written. It looks great. Great job there.
I actually also wanted to bring up the ski club. I thought that was a great presentation that was brought to us, and I'm a little disappointed that we aren't taking advantage of a possible discount night. I know other districts are doing it, and I think a lot more families would want to get their kids out and try out skiing or snowboarding if there was a discount offered. So I really would like to see maybe next year somebody take a lead on that for our students. I did want to ask, what is the update on the elementary gym ceiling? I know we had talked about it. I can't remember where we left off with that.
So we have come to a tentative agreement with SWBR for about $176,000 that will let us remove the ceiling. That's slated for this summer. We're going to have to refoam the beams there, and we have new lighting that Jesse was able to order. We've ordered a couple different samples, and he's found one that he thinks he likes. So most of the work will be done in-house. The lighting will have to go out to bid, to be engineered, to be put in, but it's on the docket for summertime.
Okay, and that's the only thing remaining from our capital project?
Yes.
Also, congratulations to the boys varsity indoor track team for winning sectionals.
Thank you, Rose. Pat?
I'm going to say something that I don't mean to be overly critical, but as a board member, I've been here a long time. I'm going to request more communication. As a board member, I feel out of the loop. I don't know if it's the fewer meetings or what, but I've spoken to other board members. There's people that feel the same way. Nobody's mentioned it. Just more communication. We hear it from parents that we want to hear more. I want to hear more what's going on, be kept in a loop more about things. Just as a board member, I can't come here during the day. My professional responsibilities keep me from being here. Don't want to be underfoot either. But if we could just get more communication, I'd like to see it. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but just a request from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone received a transportation survey. If you didn't, take a second look in your email from the bus company. If you can, it only takes a couple of minutes to fill it out. They're looking for your input. And just a reminder, tomorrow in the theater, 2:00, awards honor ceremony. We'll see you there. Okay. Moving to item number 20 is adjournment.
I have one question. I'm glad Rose brought that up because it's financial. What's the status of Foxcroft? that litigation?
We've heard nothing. I have reached out several times to Fallsburg, the town of Fallsburg, because that's litigation at the state level. But we also don't have any proof that they've done any of the work through that pilot.
I understand that the state has substantial lawsuit against them.
They do.
That was announced in
Yes.
in the newspapers. Why can't we join that?
So we can't join that one, but we can go after them and remove the pilot, and then they would have to pay the full amount of taxes to us. And that's what we're working on.
Plus our attorney cost?
Yes. Well, yes.
So we haven't done that yet.
So I have sent everything to our attorneys, and I've graciously tried to reach out to Fallsburg, the town of Fallsburg, the Fallsburg supervisor several times, and I've gotten nothing back from them. Not a phone call, not an email, nothing. So our attorneys have all of that. They have the pilot. So the next step is for them to take action.
And has that been in writing to Fallsburg?
No, the action has not been sent to.
No, I mean, when you called them, did you call them or did you
I
send them a letter?
call, I email, I leave messages for 3 or 4 different people.
So I think we need to move on from them. And
I do too.
I thought the pilot had a sunset for like 3 years.
it did, but there was criteria that they were supposed to meet. And that's why you have to contact Falls to see if it was met.
Yeah, so there's receipts, there's got to be proof of work. Now, we can drive there and see the work's not been done.
Did you know what the criteria was?
Yes, it's identified in that agreement.
It's money for the district, and I think we need to move on personally because it is financial.
Keith, can we, you said everyone received a transportation survey, everyone meaning board members or
Yeah.
district parents?
No, board members.
All right, I didn't see any.
No, because I got a second notice
Mhm.
and I had to go back and it was a week, almost 2 weeks
A
ago.
couple weeks ago.
And then I got a second one this week, reminder.
I don't think I received any notice.
If not, I'll forward it to you. But I thought it was to everyone, if I remember right. Okay. Yeah, it was about a week before.
What are you looking for in that notice, Keith? I mean, what's it asking us?
Just has a series of multiple choice, and like you can grade it 1 to 10 on different things about technology in the buses, condition of the buses, what's important to you, and you can prioritize.
So nothing about financially with our contract then?
They're asking you if you're okay with the pricing. What are your concerns? Because you can.
Personally, I think it's time to go out to bid again because it's been a substantial amount of time and it'd behoove the district to do that. We should anyway after so many years.
Okay. Motion to adjourn. Motion by Kerry,
Second. Oh, okay.
second by Travis. Please proceed to vote.
Aye.
That is unanimous.
That is unanimous. Be resolved, the Board of Education voted to enter adjourn the meeting at 8:57 PM. Thank you, everyone.